Welcome, and thank you for joining today. This presentation walks small business owners through the 10 foundational steps that separate companies who win government contracts from those who waste years bidding without results. Government contracting is one of the largest, most stable revenue opportunities available to small businesses, but the federal marketplace rewards preparation, not enthusiasm. By the end of this session, you will have a clear step-by-step readiness checklist you can begin acting on immediately. Let me set the scene. The U.S. Government spends more than $750 billion on contracts every year, and Congress requires that 23% of those prime contracts go to small businesses. That works out to roughly $178 billion in addressable revenue for small firms every single year. As the chart shows, federal contract spending has trended upward for 7 consecutive years, and that trajectory is expected to continue. The opportunity is enormous and durable. The question is not whether the money is there. The question is whether your business is ready to capture it. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Research from the SBA Office of Advocacy suggests that only about 1 in 5 newly registered small businesses ever wins a federal contract within the first 3 years. And when we look at the top reasons bids get rejected, the pattern is striking. It is almost never about the quality of the work or the strength of the company. It is about preparation, incomplete registrations, wrong NAICS codes, weak capability statements, FAR non-compliance, and no documented past performance. Every one of these is fixable. That is exactly what the next 10 steps are designed to do. Here is the full roadmap at a glance. 10 steps, organized in the order you should tackle them. Steps 1 through 3 are foundational identity, who you are in the federal system. Steps 4 through 6 are operational readiness, the financial and regulatory backbone. Steps 7 through 10 are market strategy, knowing where to play, how to be found, and how to win. We will go through each in detail over the next 10 slides with examples and concrete actions you can take this week. Step 1 is registering properly in SAM.gov, the System for Award Management. This is the federal government's master vendor database. If you are not active and fully compliant in SAM, you cannot legally receive a federal contract, full stop. Registration is free, and most businesses can complete it in 2 to 4 weeks if they have their documents ready. The mistake to avoid is treating this as a one-time task. SAM registrations expire every year, and a lapsed registration disqualifies you instantly. On the right is what a complete profile looks like. Notice that even one missing item, like a cage code or banking information, will stop your bid from being considered. NAICS codes, the North American Industry Classification System, are how the federal government categorizes every business and every contract. Choosing the right ones is the single most underestimated step in this entire process. The wrong code can disqualify you from millions of dollars of work, while the right combination opens doors. On the right is a real example for an IT consulting firm. The primary code is 541512, Computer Systems Design Services, with several adjacent secondary codes. Notice the size standard column, that is the maximum revenue or employee count to still qualify as a small business under that code. Pick one primary, 3 to 7 secondaries, and validate every choice against actual contract awards on U.S. spending. Gov. Step 3. Build a strong capability statement. Think of this as your one-page government resume, typically a single PDF that lives in every email signature and gets handed out at every industry day. Every effective capability statement has 4 sections: core competencies, differentiators, past performance, and certifications. The mistake most small businesses make is writing in commercial marketing language. Government buyers want specifics, NAICS codes, contract values, agency names, and certifications. On the right is a mock example of what a strong one-pager looks like. Notice how every section is dense with concrete proof points? There is no fluff. Step 4 sounds basic, but it derails more bids than people realize. Separate your business and personal finances. Government contracting officers and DCAA auditors expect to see clean books with a clear paper trail. If your business expenses are tangled with grocery receipts and personal credit card purchases, you will fail a pre-award financial review, and you may forfeit reimbursable costs entirely. On the left is what to avoid. On the right is the standard you must hit: a dedicated business checking account, a business credit card, bookkeeping software like QuickBooks or Xero, and the ability to produce a clean profit and loss statement within 24 hours. If you do nothing else this week, open the business bank account. Step 5. Understand basic FAR principles. The Federal Acquisition Regulation is the master rulebook, over 2,000 pages of it. The good news is you do not need to read all of it. You need to understand 4 parts: Part 5 tells you how and where the government publicizes contracts. That is where you find opportunities. Part 12 covers commercial items, which is the streamlined path for off-the-shelf goods and services. Part 13 governs simplified acquisitions under $250,000, and it is by far the friendliest entry point for small businesses. Part 15 covers larger negotiated contracts where evaluation factors and proposal volumes matter. Knowing which part applies to your bid tells you the format, the evaluation criteria, and the timeline you have to hit. Without this, you are guessing. Step 6. Set up a basic accounting system that grows with you. For your first few simplified acquisition contracts, QuickBooks Online with proper job costing classes will be sufficient. But the moment you start pursuing cost reimbursable contracts where the government pays your actual costs plus a fee, you must have a system that can track labor, materials, and overhead by individual contract, separate direct from indirect costs, and survive a DCAA audit. The maturity map at the bottom shows the progression. Most successful small businesses graduate from QuickBooks to a DCAA compliant system like Uninet or Deltek somewhere between 5 and 10 million in federal revenue. Plan ahead. Switching systems mid-contract is painful. Step 7. Identify your target agencies. The single biggest mistake new federal contractors make is trying to bid on every opportunity, everywhere. The chart on the left shows where the money actually is. The Department of Defense alone accounts for over half of federal contract spending. The VA, Department of Energy, HHS, and DHS round out the top buyers. The framework on the right is what we use with our clients. For each candidate agency, ask, do they spend on my NAICS consistently? Do their typical award sizes match my delivery capacity? Do they use set-asides? Can I name a contracting officer? And is my work on their published forecast? Pick 2 or 3 agencies that pass all 5. Then go deep, not wide. Step 8. Start monitoring opportunities on SAM.gov. Specifically, set up saved searches and email alerts so you see relevant solicitations the day they post. There are 3 notice types you must track. Sources sought notices are the earliest signal, 6 to 12 months before award, and responding to them lets you literally help shape the requirement. Pre-solicitations come 30 to 90 days before award and let you ask questions and build relationships. The active RFP is when bidding opens. On the right is a mock of what your daily SAM alert digest should look like. Focused, filtered to your NAICS and target agencies, and reviewed every single morning. The contractors who win are the ones who show up early. Step 9. Build past performance, even if it is indirect. The most common objection I hear from new federal contractors is, I have no past performance, so why would they pick me? The answer is that past performance does not have to be federal. There are 3 legitimate sources. Commercial projects count if you document them with the same rigor, scope, value, timeline, and outcome. Subcontracting under a federal prime gives you direct federal experience without bidding the prime. And state, local, and tribal contracts count as relevant past performance under most evaluation criteria. The trick is to write up each engagement as if it were a CPARS reference, agency name or client, contract value, period of performance, scope, and quantifiable results. Build a library of 3 to 5 strong references before your first federal bid. Step 10. Develop a basic capture strategy. Capture is the work you do before the RFP drops, the difference between a reactive bid and a winning one. A real capture plan answers 4 questions. Who is the buyer? Name the contracting officer, the program manager, and the end user. What problem are they solving? Not the scope of work, the underlying business reason. Who is the incumbent, and where are they vulnerable? And finally, why should the buyer pick you? That last answer must be tied directly to the evaluation criteria, not your generic marketing pitch. When you can answer those 4 questions before you start writing, your proposal stops sounding like a brochure and starts sounding like the answer they've been waiting for. Here is the bottom line. After 30+ federal contracting engagements, the pattern is unmistakable. Small businesses lose not because they are unqualified, but because they are unprepared. The 10 steps we walked through today, covering identity, operational readiness, and capture strategy, are the foundation that makes your bids credible, competitive, and compliant. Every winning small federal contractor has done all 10. Every struggling one has skipped at least 3. Where you are on this map determines whether you are about to win or about to waste the next 2 years learning expensive lessons. Before we close, here's a tool you can use this week. The radar chart compares 2 profiles, a typical new federal bidder in Navy and a win-ready small business in gold. Score yourself 0 through 10 on each of the 10 dimensions we covered. The legend on the right tells you what each score means. Anything in the 0 to 3 range is a critical gap that should stop you from bidding until it is fixed. Pick your 2 lowest scores and commit to closing them in the next 30 days. Nothing improves your win rate faster than systematically closing your lowest scoring readiness gaps. If you are ready to stop guessing and start winning federal contracts, Neybor Consulting can help. We work with small businesses to build a complete government contracting system, from your initial SAM.gov registration all the way through capture strategy on your first major bid. Visit Neybor Consulting. Come today to book a free strategy session. We will assess where you are on the readiness scorecard, identify the 2 or 3 gaps holding you back, and map out a 30 to 60-day plan to position your business to compete and win with confidence. Thank you for your time.